excitement's in the air. Chilling with my crew, we got stories to share. Sipping on that drink, feeling high off the game. Every play we break down, yeah, we're calling out names. Talk that sports debate, keep the energy high. Shouting out the scores, let the passion fly. Just a crew of friends, talking sports all night, making memories shine. Everything feels right. Through laughter and debates, yeah, we find our groove. In this unique moment, we just can't lose. From basketball to football, we know every play. Pulling out those stats, keep the vibe at bay. We're unlocking the secrets, hear those drops and dives. In our unique world, that's where friendship thrives. That bond over games, it's the best kind of thrill. We're lifting each other with every single chill. Just a crew of friends, talking sports all night, making memories shine. Everything feels right. Through laughter and debates, yeah, we find our groove. In this unique moment, we just can't lose. So here's to the games, and here's to the crew. Then our sports love and the dreams we used to rule. So here's the games to the crew. In our sports world, every dream feels true.
Well, hello. Welcome to the Unique Sports Talk. And you're on the swivel at the sports bar with yours truly, Art Payne. Hey, listen, this is my new channel that we're going to just talk sports with. And, some of my fellas may show up. If not, I'm going to go solo. No big deal. So welcome aboard. This is, again, episode 28 of On the Swivel at the Sports Bar. We got a few things to talk about and some things to look at. All right, so, disclaimer for all the stuff we use, all the stuff that I use, fair use. And anyway, let's just get started until some folks come in. No sense in, let me just go ahead and say like, share, and subscribe. We're going to talk a little bit of football because I know we're getting ready for the new season, starting to get warm out there. So once it gets warm again, I think OTAs are officially over and they're going to the next level of mandatory practices. And, so teams are starting to shaping up their rosters and things of that nature. So I'm going to go ahead and look at a few team rosters, who's signing, who's not. I'm going to just go through it real quickly and, and just see what's going on. Say who's in and who's not. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm going to just go through the document. All right. So you see this right here. So the title is the roster updates. So that's what we're going to talk about. All right, let me get rid of this. So we're going to go through the AFC East first. And let me just make sure something before we get started on that. I think I'm all good, but I want to make sure I am. Okay, great. All right. So let's go through some of these. What's going on team by team? Well, of course, Josh Allen, of the number one guy, he's got a 6-year deal worth $330 million with $250 million guaranteed. And so, here's the rest of the people on this roster. And, So I wanted just to hit the highlights. Okay, Miami Dolphins, Zach Wilson signs a deal, 1 year deal. Nothing really big going on here. I think all the guys that didn't want to come back is coming back and are under contract. Okay, here we're talking about the Patriots. Okay, Josh Dobbs got an 8 year deal. We got 3.8 million. Stephon Diggs, he's in the news because his new girlfriend is Cardi B, and I don't think he's any more serious with her than he is with any other honeys. And it's just a matter of time before I hear her start to scream on him having other girlfriends. That's just me talking, because his own teammates kind of think that, hey, this is kind of new for him to just be monogamous. It's probably an impossibility, unless he wants it to be different. The Jets, they signed Justin Fields. So I was trying to wonder where he went after the Pittsburgh gave up on him. I think they gave up on him a little too soon, but they figured that he's not their guy, right? So he's on the Jets. Got a $40 million deal, 2 years, $20 million a year, $30 million guaranteed. 15 million signing bonus, and $5 million base salary. So that's a decent contract. Now he's bounced from Chicago, he's bounced to Pittsburgh, and now he's on the Jets. And I think with the Jets, this is his stop. He's got to make it happen. And so they got the Jets, got Taylor Johnson, Josh Reynolds. They got Keeney coming back, so running back, wide receiver. So let's just see how they do this year. Okay, Baltimore. Cooper Rush, somebody to back up my man, the quarterback there, Lamar Jackson. Of course, Derrick Henry's back, $3 million extension, $25 million guaranteed. Man, they need him, man. I tell you what, nobody really worries about Baltimore, because what they have to prove is how they're gonna, do better in the playoffs. That's what it is all about, man. Everybody knows that regular season, they're gonna win 12 to 14 games in the regular season, right? It's what they do in the playoffs that matters. Now, I think it's really, really important for them to win the AFC, so they have home field advantage, because somehow, some way, they find ways to choke up and lose in the playoffs before they get to the championship. So, everybody doesn't get there. But I tell you what, as great as my man Lamar Jackson might seem in the regular season, it's when it's the money time that really counts. So that's the deal. So we'll have to watch and wait to see how that goes on. All right, so what's going on? The Bengals, their Chase is signed, $16 million extension. He's the big dude there. Flacco's still kicking it around, man. He's on the Browns for another 4 years. Now, Flacco is going to make him money in the NFL for a very long time. Kenny Pickett, Carter, Dante Johnson. Okay, but Flacco, that's man, he just, as long as he can throw the ball down the field. Okay, Pittsburgh. Okay, they signed a 1 year deal with Aaron Rodgers for $13 million. So they're going to give him the ball. Mason Rudolph is there. He got his deal signed. I tell you, man, I don't know. Maybe Tomlin could get through to Aaron Rodgers, but listen, I don't have too many high hopes. His fastball ain't what it used to be. Okay, Houston, Nick Chubb. Okay, he signed up. Nothing jumps out at you with Houston right there. They should be a decent team next year. The Colts, Daniel Jones. He signs a $14 million contract. Okay, that's cool. Nothing that jumps out at you. The Jaguars, Nick Mullins, they signed a backup. Nothing jumps out with them really too much. The Titans, Brandon Allen. Okay. Yeah, nothing's jumping out. Tyler Lockett signed a 1 year, $4 million deal. Tyler's a good receiver. He's a good second receiver. There's no doubt about that. Uh, so all right. So in the AFC West, all right, nothing there. Kansas City, Gardner Minshew. Okay, he's going to be backing up my man. All right, that's cool. He can sit down on the bench. You got a 1-year contract to back up my man Mahomes. Kareem Hunt back. Nothing. Marquise Brown, he resigns. Juju Smith-Schuster resigns. All right. Okay. The Raiders. Oh man. Okay. Seattle gets rid of Geno Smith. They traded him to the Raiders. Okay. Man, Geno got a 2-year extension worth $85 million with $66 million guaranteed. Man, go ahead, Geno. Raheem Mostert. Okay, that's good. Man, you know what? Geno Smith on the Jets, man, some people thought he was a bust. His second half of his career has been, you know, at least rated a C plus or B minus. You know, you can't say it hasn't been. He's done well. Good for him. Good for him. Tyler Haneke for the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm just going through some of the names here. Joe Milton. Okay. For the Cowboys, man, I tell you what, man, I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do this year, but more power to them. The New York Giants, Tommy DeVito resigned. Russell Wilson. Listen, I tell you, you know, he's going to be in New York. I tell you one thing, I know Sierra's happy as hell. You know, she's in a big New York, and they got Jameis Winston too. But yeah, I don't think how much game he's going to see. But you know, Jameis somehow is hanging out because he's probably, you know, one of the better bench players now. You know, so that's cool. All right, I think my man, I think Russell Wilson is going to have a better year than people think. He's got a 1-year, $10 million deal. His wife is probably happy as hell, man. I could just think because you know Sierra, you know she seems like a dutiful wife, but being in the big city in New York, in Tinseltown, you know, I mean, bright lights and shit, concrete jungle, she's having a ball, you know. So she's glad he's there, I'm sure. Dorian Thompson, Saquon Barkley, $42 million, new money with $36 million guaranteed. Yeah, go ahead, man. Saquon had a great year. Is he going to repeat? I don't think so, but we'll see. You know, he had some great runs last year, great runs. So is he going to? I don't know. So the NFL is good. It's going to be exciting. And Josh Johnson with the Commanders, Marcus Mariota to back up my man. So there you go. He's got to get away from my man Jalen. Got to get away from Jaden. He's got to get away from his mother. She's going to smother him. He's like a son husband. All right, Casey Keenum for Chicago. Kyle Allen. You know, nothing in these teams. Green Bay, and they didn't do much. Minnesota, Aaron Jones. Not much there. South. Okay, Eastern Stick. That's a good name for football, I guess. Or porn star. Eastern Stick. That's a porn star's name. You know, good for him. Yeah, that's pretty funny. All right. Andy Dalton. New Orleans. Brandon Cooks. Okay, good receiver. Peoples Jones. Decent receiver. Okay. Tampa Bay. Kyle Trask resigns. Chris Godwin, okay. Sterling Shepard, still kicking it. It's been around for a while. All right, NFC West. Jacoby Brissett, he's another guy who's persistent, man. This guy, yeah, he's been around the place, but people love him. He's got a job. He's got a job. Garoppolo, he's one of those guys they can't get rid of. Somehow he's always around. His deal, 1 year, $4 million. So this is probably his last stop. Matthew Stafford, They sign him for the big money. Okay. Mark Jones, he's got a decent contract for for whatever happened to him in New England. And of course, their man Brock Purdy got $265 million, which is cool. I mean, that's probably par for the course. Man. All right. Okay. Sam Donald, $100 million contract. Man, he a long way from the Jets. All right, so that's that. And I just wanted to go ahead and go through the rosters, and hit that for today because we haven't talked football for a while. All right, so we're back to the National Basketball Association. We all know that the championship round is going, and pick your poison. So just one highlight from one game, and we're gonna play that now.
Game 2 of the NBA Finals is in the books. Let's make this one cook. Top 5 on NBA.com. At number 5, Aaron Wiggins going to work outside on Tyrese Halliburton. Little crossover, step back, and that shot's going right to the rack. Beautifully done from Aaron Wiggins, who gets in at number 5. On to number 4, where we always get up off the floor. And this time it's defense reaching to the sky to deny. That's Chet Holmgren with the swat on that shot. He gets in at number 4. We're up to number 3. And Isaiah Joe on the go, hanging and hitting with the reverse. It's Isaiah player as he hangs in the air and dares to get that one to go down at number 3. Up to number 2 now, and it's big men working together. Isaiah Hartenstein sends Chet flying, and there would be no denying on this one as Chet Holmgren gets up for the stuff. That's in at number 2. But at number 1, look, we know the Thunder won the game, but Miles Turner brought the pain right down the lane, and this dunk is insane. Just a huge hammer from the sky. Miles Turner of the Indiana Pacers lands at number 1 on the NBA.com. Cover.
Hey, man, what's going on, man? What's happening?
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
All right.
What's happening?
So I always play. So what?
I said my bad. Running a few minutes behind. What's happening?
No, that's cool, man. It's cool. I mean, usually if nothing's going on, man, I just come, just inaugurate my new channel here because on my old channel I have a lot of different things on there, so I wanted to separate the sports talk. So this is my inaugural, thing on this channel. I don't know how many people are going to show up, but I'm gonna probably just promote it here. I have this YouTuber that I listen to talking about separating things from the channel and using hashtags and things of that nature. So we'll see if it works out better. I've been on a swivel at the sports bar. I had that trademark for over 10 years.
What are the sports that you follow?
Oh man, everything, man. A little bit of everything. The main ones, but I try to pick up stuff that nobody ever talks about. So we're gonna go through the next thing. This is basketball. So while we're here, so we'll talk basketball here. If you have anything to add, you can add. So this is a good question for you. Now that you just showed up, this is perfect. All right, so we got a changing of the guard coming up, right? You agree with that? I would imagine.
Yes.
You watch a lot of basketball?
Yes, I do.
So I call the Magnificent Seven. Now, I didn't do a whole lot of research on this, but if I had to pick 7 guys that are going to be the new faces in the NBA, right? So we're going to get some, we're going to try to get the LeBrons going, the Steph Curry, even though he's still the baddest shooter out there. He's been around for a lot. So if we say 8 years and less, we know that SGA has got to be one of them. Right.
What's up, man? You ain't fucking with Ja? You don't like Ja like that?
Well, hold on. Let me finish mine because he could be one of your 7. You know what I'm saying? This could be that's exactly right. And tell me who you would replace. I got Luka, Tatum, Edwards, Victor. John might go where Victor is because we still have to show Halliburton and Jalen Brunson. Who would you get?
If I'm looking at your list, the only thing I would do here, I would probably swap Jalen and Tyrese and switch Halliburton with Ja Morant.
Okay.
That would
Okay.
probably be the only thing that I do different from your list.
All right. Yeah, you know what? But I gotta admit, I forgot about John. I forgot about John. You know, it's only maybe because, he's been all the kind of issues he had, but somehow I have to admit it, he slipped my mind, or else he might have been on this list.
I'm gonna tell you, sports is becoming very interesting to me because over the last year or two, I'm starting to realize that all of the like major players in the league, like I'm older than most of the major players in the league now. So
Okay.
I'm seeing sports completely different now. Because, being a kid, Michael Jordan being that guy, it's like Michael Jordan's like 20, 30 years older than you.
Right.
LeBron James comes in, he's old, Kobe, Dirk Nowitzki, these are older guys. Now I got dudes that's 6 years younger than me about to be the motherfuckers. Like it's interesting for me now, and for you, of course, it's been that way for you for a while. So me receiving sports differently is it's interesting seeing it this way now.
Well, I hear you, but that's true. I mean, so I just thought I'd make this list. Some of my fellas, I guess a lot of them, they show up sometimes. I just say, hey, listen, if you show up, man, hit the like button on the way in. I'm gonna get some start to build this channel on just sports, and not just the actual games, but if it's sports or sports related, I'm gonna start putting it on this channel, and I'm gonna get rid of like the politics and the relationships and all that kind of shit. It's gonna be on my other channel. So this is
my father says that Luka is the most overrated guard in the league.
His faults are evident. Let's put it to you that way. He's got some evident fault, but I don't think he's overrated. But it's clear that he's going to have one or two guys if he's going to win a championship. Now we can't forget he was in a championship just a couple of years ago.
And my Celtics beat him.
The Celtics had a great squad. Yeah, so we got to. But I hear you. But maybe a little overrated. But I tell you what, I don't know. WNBA. Oh, this one I was going to show a little bit of this.
I'm so happy when they stopped this shit.
Okay, so here the WNBA, right? Listen, I listened a little bit to Jason Whitlock, but he goes unhinged on this thing, and I'm gonna just say a little bit of it because, of course, I don't believe that Angel Reese should have been Sportswoman of the Year anyway. But listen to his take on it. In the beginning, he sounds okay. I'm gonna play maybe 3 or 4 minutes of it, but not much. And then he goes unhinged, completely unhinged.
BET. I think they started this in 2001. The BET Awards, Sports Woman of the Year. They've been doing this since 2001. I believe Serena Williams has won 16 times, but Serena Williams is now no longer an athlete. And so Angel Reese was named Sportswoman of the Year. Angel Reese. The woman.
Look at that list, man. Let me ask you, if I had to pick Sportswoman of the Year, if you had to pick, would she be Clarissa Shields? Coco Gauff?
No, she's not even on this list.
You know what I'm saying? Come on.
You have Aja Wilson just won a championship. Simone Biles just won gold fucking medals. Sha'Carri Richardson was just in the Olympics. Coco just won the fucking French. What are we talking about?
It's amazing, man. I mean, I don't watch BET Awards anymore. It's been years since I've watched it, but this is incredible. So that's what Jason goes.
With a retarded offensive basketball game. A woman who's an absolute embarrassment to the WNBA because she's getting so much attention and she's so unskilled, she confirms nearly every stereotype about women's basketball. That it's hot garbage and hot trash. But she's the winner of this award over Aja Wilson. Haven't we all heard Aja Wilson is the best basketball player? Haven't we all heard that Aja Wilson needs to be supported and Aja Wilson should be the face of the WNBA. But this woman, who can barely make layups, is named the Sportswoman of the Year. Why? And this is the second year in a row that she's been named Sportswoman of the Year by the BET Awards. Why? Because she antagonizes white Christian men. And
okay, that's where I'm trying to figure out, where do you get that shit from? Do you have any indication of inclination of an indication what he's talking about?
So the idea is that I'm trying to figure out how to say it without sounding so unhinged as him. Look, to be honest, I can appreciate her game. She is good at what she does. She's not good enough at the sport to be the premier athlete. She's just not. That's not a hate black women thing. That's not a black versus white thing. She's just not that good. The storyline is great. And for some reason, BET found this to be the time to give her. What the fuck are we doing? I'm having a hard time even answering your question because it just doesn't make sense.
Let me give him a little bit more. When he goes down this path that, listen, I can understand the powers that be are propping her up for a lot of reasons, but I wouldn't say it's just because they want to piss off white guys. I mean, I think it's crazy, and I'm not white.
Conservative.
Yeah.
She trolls Caitlin Clark.
Okay.
And so what's in the best interest of black people and black women is put on the back burner so that we control Caitlin Clark, so that we control white men, so we can antagonize and annoy white people.
Okay. You know what? I swear. I mean, I think you got to, I'm not going to listen to the whole thing, but he tries to make the connection because I don't necessarily believe that this is just because they want to piss white people off. I do know that they want to always try to somehow diminish Caitlin Clark's importance to the WNBA. But I don't think that's just because they want to slight white women. They just don't want white people. They just don't want the fact that with all those black lesbians and all that kind of people in the WNBA, they're jealous of this white girl. And they try to diminish her. So, go ahead.
I think they're doing a horrible job of their rendition of Magic versus Bird. I think I think what's happening here is the WNBA saw, okay, we have an opportunity to do Magic versus Bird, and these aren't the two players for it. They're just not.
Well, hold on. No. Listen, Caitlin would be, but she's not.
Yeah, this isn't the pairing for that.
Right.
They just don't have that right now. They just need to y'all just need to slow down. Just wait a minute. Juju gonna be here in a second, okay?
Yes.
Juju right around the way. You know what I'm saying? Prayers up to the Almighty. I hope that she heal well. She get, you know what I'm saying, drafted onto a nice team. I think that the battle needs to be Asia versus Juju. That needs to be the battle of the WNBA right now. Asia versus Juju.
Is she coming out next year?
I would hope so.
Yeah, I mean, because she can't afford to get another injury, and that was a non-contact injury, man. That was just bad. They always end up bad. Those things, you just go down. Oh my God. Anyway,
imagine her a Final Four championship, dog. Walked into the WNBA, helped, man. Yeah, but in terms of him, he definitely, I agree with you. He definitely went completely unhinged. It just went why do we go all the way white man with this, bro?
Yeah, he's just crazy. Anyway, but that's Jason Whitlock, man. If you know him, man, he's on edge. He's always on edge like that. Anyway, okay, here's the standing. The Liberty and the Lynx are running away with things. I think the Fever's hanging in there without Caitlin Clark. They got dusted by, I think, 20 points by the Dream the other night. Other than that, just the standings.
You're telling me that she won Woman Athlete of the Year and her team is 2-6 right now, my G?
Yeah, yeah.
Her team is 2-6 right now. What are we talking about?
It's such a farce. The whole
This
thing is
is
a farce, man.
it's unfortunate to the women because y'all gonna continue doing this whole why don't women get paid the same as men? Y'all gonna have this whole wage disparity thing going on, and it's bullshit like this as to why y'all are not making any money. This is it's shit like this.
Yeah, it's very disingenuous what they've done with that. It really is, and I guess it's BET can award whoever they want to award, but that's what they do. All right, so baseball. I'm not a. How about you, man? Are you a big baseball fan?
I just started getting into baseball probably like a year or two ago. I'm a Rangers fan. The Rangers was the first baseball game that I ever went to in person, so I'm a Rangers fan.
All right, so listen, man. I pretty much don't know.
And they won the World Series last year.
Yeah, okay. I pretty much don't watch baseball till the playoffs start. It's
Pretty
too
much.
many games. It's just too many games. But I like to, it's good that the Mets and the Yankees are in first place for now. But, like the Yankees, they can hit all they want. But in the playoffs, when pitching is supreme, they go down lately. So I just have to put that there. So I'm trying to be true to it. How about hockey? You watch any hockey?
All right, so hockey, I was kind of invested in. I was hoping that because the Dallas Stars made it to the conference finals, I was hoping they would make it to the Stanley Cup. But hockey, I don't know players by name, no shit like that, but I do watch it.
I watch from time to time. My high school when I was in New York was a championship hockey team. They had a championship. They played West Point. They used to play colleges. That's how good they were. So I was into it back in the day, man, with the, Gretzky and all those kind of guys. I went to school in Buffalo. Edmonton was one of the toughest teams ever. And I was up there, close to Canada. And so, I haven't caught any games, but they're in the championship series, Florida Panthers.
In terms of this Stanley Cup, it is a nice series. These are two very fast-paced teams. They both move very fast. They're very good with moving the puck around on the ice and shit like that.
Right.
But Florida, man, they get shown so many shots on the goal that you almost don't have a chance to win. Like these motherfuckers are just getting shots off. They shoot everywhere. They shoot everywhere.
Well, man, listen, a hockey goalie is amazing. Those guys are amazing. I really tell you, man. They got those big ass pads on and they move like cats. Unbelievable. So
and they pretty big dudes. You can't be small and be a goalie. You got to be a big boy. You know what I'm saying?
You got to cover that day. All right, so put the French Open winners. Listen, man, I watched that Coco golf. Sabalenka. That was a good match. I was glad Coco pulled it out. And then, of course, I didn't watch the men's thing, man. It was 5 hours. I can't sit. I watch the female tennis much more than I watch male tennis. I can't sit down and watch these guys play for 5 hours.
I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that golf and tennis are the two sports that I have zero fucking interest in. Because once the finals go off, ain't nothing going to be on TV but baseball, golf, and tennis.
Right.
I can't. ESPN is horrible for me during this time. I can't. Like these sports is.
So, what's your best sport, man? Football, basketball, football.
Top three would be in the order of football, basketball, soccer.
Oh, soccer. I can't really get into soccer that much, but a lot of my buddies, from foreign countries, that went, they were all into soccer, man. We had enough where I worked. We had enough guys who liked soccer that they had an intramural soccer league. And that's a lot of people.
Because I come from a Hispanic background, this is part of the get down. You know what I'm saying? So
that's cool. That's good.
I didn't know that I was good. I didn't know that I was good at soccer until I graduated high school. So I was too late because most of the soccer players they're playing at 8, 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, it was too late.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, I watched that. Okay. So I don't know if you ever followed this a little bit of this controversy where my girl Simone Biles comes out against Riley Gaines, and so I want to go give a little snippet about Stephen A. Are you familiar with Riley Gaines?
No.
All
No,
right,
we're
so
talking. Is this the girl that went against the swimmer that went against the transgender swimmer?
yes.
Okay. Okay.
Right, and she became a big advocate for getting men out of women's sports. She gave
Yeah.
up everything for that. So this is the beginning of the interview, and she'll talk about a little background of why we're talking about this, and then we're going to go to the next slide.
A former NCAA All-American swimmer turned conservative pundit who now hosts the Gains for Girls podcast on Outkick.com that focuses on current events, social issues, and topics related to women's rights and gender equity. Please welcome to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Miss Riley Gaines. Riley, how are you? How's everything?
I am fantastic. Super excited to be on with you today. So thanks for the opportunity.
Please, my pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Let me give the audience some background on the story. Last week, a transgender softball pitcher in Minnesota named Marissa Rothenberger led Champlain Park High School to a state championship. This athlete's participation in the girls' softball season was in defiance of President Donald Trump's executive order of keeping biological men out of women's sports. The high school league removed comments from a post showing the winners of a softball state championship. So I know you reacted to that. I want to know, what was your reaction when you saw all of that? Could you remind our audience of what it was?
Absolutely. Well, this was about 2 weeks ago at this point. Understand that week we saw in 5 different states, California, Washington, Oregon, Maine, and Minnesota, boys take qualifying spots, state championships, or podium spots from deserving girls. This case in Minnesota that you're referring to.
Well, before she goes on, so what's your position on this?
First and foremost, this should not be happening in high school. It should not be happening in high school. If we want to talk about college and professionals, that's a different conversation. But there is no way in the world you're going to convince me that a 16-year-old boy needs to be playing softball with girls.
You think if they're older, it's better? I mean,
I don't think because it's older, it's better. But just the entire idea of a child being in high school, taking these hormone blockers and taping their body up in a particular way. These kids are in high school, so what about changing clothes? This is a 14-year-old girl changing in front of a 14-year-old boy. That is uncomfortable. Like all of the high school, this shit should not be happening. And if it's to the point to where you have one athlete that's going to a completely different locker room in order to participate with their team, that we're already setting yourself, your team, everybody up for failure. Like, this shit should not be happening in high school at all.
Okay. From the standpoint that none of these kids should be going under gender, hormone blockers and all that stuff until they're adults. If they want to do that, live that life.
Yeah. When you 18, 19, do what the fuck you want to do. Yeah. In terms of college,
but they still shouldn't be. But even if they still shouldn't be allowed to play in women's sports, though.
No. No, not at all.
This was a boy who pitched 5 games straight, 35 consecutive innings, only allowed 2 runs of those 35 innings. I think he pitched 21 shutout innings. Mm-hmm. They won the state championship. It was his team's first time ever even making the state tournament. Of course, they went on to win. He led his team in a way that I would describe not very valiantly. Nonetheless, to be very clear, this boy is following the rules that were in place by local leadership, state leadership, of course, at the interscholastic level. But nonetheless, it violated federal law, that federal law being Title IX. So I was quick to call this out, as I have done for years after experiencing personally the effects of competing against a man. So that's a little backstory here. The issue is still happening. It continues to persist with full steam ahead and no signs of slowing down.
And how long have you maintained, or I don't want to say this is new to you because, like you said, you've been speaking on this for quite some time. I'm assuming when you talked about having personally experienced competing against a man as a swimmer, I'm assuming you're alluding to Leah Thomas. I want you to talk about the origins of your feelings and how outspoken.
Look how she's looking at him, man. This big ass dude. This is funny as hell, man. She's
you have been about this particular issue in the past.
Yeah, I'll give you the 30,000-foot overview. Swam at University of Kentucky, did some great things in my career. 12-time All-American, 5-time SEC champion, the SEC record holder in the 200 butterfly, making me one of the fastest Americans of all time, 2-time Olympic trial qualifier. The list goes on, but really just to reiterate, it's a lifelong journey to be able to compete and succeed really at the highest level. Senior year NCAAs, we're geared up, we're ready to go. This is the meet you work all year, really all your life for. Championship final of the women's 200 freestyle, meaning top 8 women in the entire country. And I look over at the lane, a couple lanes over from me, and there's a 6'4" man standing there. His size 15 feet, taking up the entire diving block. Visible from his side profile is not only his Adam's apple, but to be pretty explicit here, and again, just describing what we saw, the bulge in his women's swimsuit. I recognize this to be wrong, as did 99% of athletes on that pool deck, but everyone was terrified to say it. Jumped in the water. We swam 8 laps of freestyle, touched the wall at the end, and almost impossibly enough, Stephen, we went the exact same time, meaning tied down to the 100th of a second, which is really rare in our sport. We get out of the water. We go behind the awards podium where the NCAA official looks at both Thomas and myself, Thomas towering over me, 8-9 inches taller than me. And the official says, "Great job, you two, but you tied. We don't account for ties. We only have 1 trophy, and we're going to give that trophy to Leah." Wow. And when I asked the dreaded question of why, the question that they weren't prepared to answer, they weren't given a script of what to say when asked this question. He stumbled on his words, but ultimately was honest and said, "Look, we've been advised as an organization, as the NCAA, that when photos are being taken, it's crucial that the trophy is in Leah's hands." And
we could stop it there. So you get the gist. This is where it all started. Then her and Simone Biles, who you're familiar with, I'm sure.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, Simone tweets her and calls her, all kinds of names, a personal attack because of her position, right? And so they have this big beef. Okay, so this one here goes in from Leah's point of view on what happened with her and Simone Biles, and so she goes through a little bit of that. So now you got the backstory. This started with her criticizing that boy in the baseball team, and then Simone surprisingly coming out so hard against her on a personal attack.
Oh, you're surprised that a black woman is supporting somebody in the LGBT?
No, absolutely not. What I'm saying, I hear you. I used the wrong word, but you would figure she would have, if she even wanted to support the alphabet community, but she made it into a personal thing, which was kind of strange.
Yesterday, Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast, the best of the best, bar none. There is no one else even remotely in her league in women's gymnastics. I guess in an attempt to be inclusive and virtuous, decided to sell out all women and girls who have dreams to achieve and to succeed, and to specifically personally attack and body shame me. She tweeted this out of the blue, like this came out of nowhere, and she said, "Riley, me, you're truly sick, all of this campaigning because you lost a race." First of all, if she's insinuating I lost to a man, I've lost several races in my career, that's part of being an athlete. But if she's saying I lost to a man, that's factually incorrect. We tied, besides the point. Straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports. Let me get something straight. It's my job. It's the women's job. This is what Simone Biles is saying. It's the women's job to find a way for the men's feelings to be validated, for their identity to be affirmed. That's not my job, actually,
Absolutely
at all.
So
to say I should be doing this is insane. If she wants to use her platform to uplift men and women's sports, then by all means, but it's certainly not my job, and I don't believe it's the job of any woman to do this. She goes on to say, but instead you bully them. One thing's for sure, no one in sports is safe with you around. I can't even make sense of that last part, actually. Then out of the blue, she tweeted this. Bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male, which is hilarious, really for two reasons. Number one, she's acknowledging there are differences, like physiological, biological differences between men and women in saying this. Secondly, I'm 5'5", which might seem like a giant to someone who's like 4'7", 4'8", but I'm pretty standard size for a woman. I guess like relatively muscular, right? Being an athlete, I would imagine Simone would understand that, but I weigh like 135 pounds, 5'5", of
Say that again?
pretty much pure muscle.
I'd hip
And
toss her
again,
little
if
ass.
Yeah, okay.
anyone
5'5",
would
130.
understand that, you would think it's Simone Biles, a woman who has historically been scrutinized for having a very muscular, masculine-looking body. She was scrutinized to the point she did this whole body positivity campaign. Then she has the nerve to say that I look like a man. And not to mention, this is a woman who has been incredibly brave in calling out and witnessing the horrific sexual abuse that she and hundreds of other female gymnasts faced at the hands of one sexual predator, that predator being Larry Nassar. In the same breath, believing that vulnerable women should be forced to strip down naked in front of men in locker rooms so long as it makes the man feel happy. If Larry Nassar came out as trans, would Simone think it's responsible or safe for him to be housed in a women's prison? To be very, very clear, I could care less what Simone Biles says about me. I'm a very secure person. I know I'm on the right side of history. I'm married, so if she wants to say I look like a man, I literally could care less. The most heartbreaking part about this, for me, is the platform that she has and the amount of young girls who look up to her. That she just, in a blink of an eye, sold out to appear to be virtuous. What we saw from Simone is the definition of pulling up the ladder behind you, something people like Megan Rapinoe have also done. I have a feeling that if Simone's inclusive dream came true, she would have 0 Olympic medals and no one would even know who she is. So if she wants to advocate for men and women's sports, by all means, it's America. You get to do that. I get to call you stupid for it, but you get to do that. Maybe in the 28 Olympics, she can compete and palm a horse in the rings. But I am going to keep standing up for.
Okay, so, so the real point is, okay, this is how the beef started. Oh, you know what? I do need to add something.
Yesterday, Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast, the best of the best, bar none. There is no one else even remotely in her league in women's gymnastics.
No, we already talked about it.
I guess in an attempt.
Anyway, so that's it. So that's their beef going back and forth. And so Simone got so much heat for coming after Riley Gaines and all the things she's done for women in women's sports. She actually put out an apology. And the apology is, of course, half-assed. So she apologized for her, but to her for saying some of the bad things, but she still stands on her position that men should be in women's sports. So if you can see this a little bit, like I wanted to follow up the tweet. I've always believed competitive equity and inclusivity are both essential in sports. Now, that first statement is ridiculous, right? Because there's no equity in sports like that. I mean, people are trying to win, right? So if you want to call it equity, it means that men should compete against men and women should compete against women. So they're in the same biological category, but that's it.
Here's where the victim Olympics come in at. Because if she was saying this about race, it would apply, but because she's saying this about gender, it doesn't. So now we get into the victim Olympics, because a black person should equally be able to have the opportunity to play quarterback the same way a white man does. Because the talking about black men not being smart enough to handle a playbook. You know what I'm saying? So the equity for a black man to play quarterback should be the same as a white man playing quarterback. A black person should be included in those sports the same way. But that can't apply to changing genders. It just cannot.
It's not the same thing. And that's why black people should be against people trying to compare us to that transgender shit.
That shit needs to stop.
It does. And you're right. It's mostly the 92%. Right? Our black women are starting to be referred to as the 92%. And that's the amount who voted for, the retarded woman.
I cannot. There's nothing in me that will help me understand why a woman would say that a man can be a woman. You went your whole life trying to convince a man that your life is hard and you have struggles and all of this other kind of shit to now tell a man that he can be you. How the fuck does that make sense?
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. And the thing really about the whole thing is it just doesn't. And that's why women can't be in charge. Not liberal women. Not liberal women. If you think about it, can you imagine what our country would be like if liberal-minded, everything goes kind of people are in charge of the levers of government? We found it for years. They put 20 million foreigners in here who now don't want to be Americans. They just want what America has to offer. They don't even fly our flags.
You know how soft that shit sound? I was listening to you just now, RP, and I'm going to tell you exactly what translated in my mind when you was talking. I'm imagining my son going to play baseball and not being good at it, right?
Right.
And having this idea in his mind and say, you know what? Maybe I should become a girl and go play softball.
Exactly.
What the fuck? Now, then the other end of it is what if my son was growing up a boy this whole time and kept talking about, oh, I wasn't comfortable enough to play sports, and then decides that he's going to transition into a girl and then goes to play softball and becomes the #1 player in the world? Why? What? That is soft as fuck.
But think about that though. You don't think that is part of their thought process? I think maybe not all of them, but I think it's part of, like that big swimmer dude. He was competing as a man for his whole career, and he was subpar against men, right? And so he said, "Let me decide. Let me just call myself a woman, keep all my private parts, right? And these fools will allow me to swim against people I know I could beat." And that's exactly what happened with Leah Thomas.
I'm sorry.
Good.
What's unfortunate is even just me and you sitting here having this conversation right now, it gets translated into, oh, you're transphobic, you believe in trans hate, you want to see trans people be hurt and deleted. Like, no, nobody's saying that. Nobody is saying that we don't want you to be like, do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you have daughters the same way I do. You're not gonna justify why somebody with nuts is changing clothes in the same fucking locker room as my daughter, dog. You're not gonna make it make sense to me.
The funny thing is that they told Riley Gaines and the girls who complained that they needed some kind of special counseling to get over it.
Fuck you.
That's what they told him. He said, "Listen, something must be. Something's wrong with you for not accepting the guy's nuts in your face." I'm serious. That's what the official thing was.
Hey, fam. Untuck your nuts and come to the NFL, cuz. Stop acting like a little bitch, bro. Let me shut up because that sounds so.
No, but it's cool, man. I got a couple. I always try to have a few questions here. These are the kind of softball ones, but we already talked about the first one already. It's just in general. We already know about that. Most men, and that's another thing. Most men that you talk to think it's unconscionable for men to be playing women's sports, and the only thing that's crazy is how come more women ain't like that, right? It's outrageous. Okay, so the NBA star is interested. So the All-Star game, they're starting to talk about American-born players against the foreign-born players. What do you think about it?
I want to see it.
I want to see it bad, man. I sure do. And
want to see it.
And you know what they think? You know what they're saying? They're saying that logistically is tough to handle, tough to make that happen. That's just bullshit. What are you talking about?
Voting wise, I see how it could be difficult.
Okay, explain that to me.
Okay, so you would have to have enough U.S.-born players that meet the qualification, because they have a game minimum now in order for you to qualify for shit like this.
Okay. All right.
So you have to have enough U.S.-born players as well as foreign players in order to match this. unfortunately for the NBA, most of the all-star players as of recently have been foreign players. So in terms of building an actual USA all-star team, it is coming to seem to be a little difficult in terms of voting.
Okay. What all that really means is that the quality of the 12 that you have to put on a American team is a little bit less than it would usually be, because there's certainly enough players that could qualify attendance-wise. Mm-hmm. So that means like a guy like maybe Siakam will get. He's a foreign player, but a guy that might just miss it by the hairy edge becomes an all-star. But that's indicative of the fact that most of the NBA's best players are foreign.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so can you imagine they would have the front court on lockdown? I mean, just think about it. Yeah, I mean, just with, I think Embiid's out of it, but I think at the eight-year mark, I think Giannis might still be available. That might be 9 years, 8 years. Oh no, forget about it. I'm talking all-star, not my list. So you think about just think about the front court. I mean, who in the front court is an American-born player these days?
Hey, you put Embiid and Jokic in there, it's over. You got Wemby and Jokic, that's over.
Yeah, you got Giannis. I mean, who they have? I mean, in the American side, they'll be hard pressed to find a front court
even the guards after in terms of guards after Donovan Mitchell, I really don't have one for you. Jalen Brunson will qualify, but I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What about maybe Jalen Green? These are young guys that there's a couple of guys. You got Anthony Edwards. You got your boy Ja.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
they will be able to build a team, but
they could build a team.
That other side, you got SGA running the point. You got Jokic and Giannis down low.
You got Halliburton off the bench. I mean, you got, because I think he's
Siakam off of the 3. Siakam playing the small 4. Come on, man.
That's
a hell of a team.
That's why I'm trying to tell you the NBA doesn't want to get embarrassed. Because they know that first of all, they would have that game would be serious because pride would be on the line, not money, not any of these things, trappings that these guys don't care about.
So here's my theory, though. I think the NBA wants the USA to be embarrassed.
Well,
because if I have understandings that they plan on having like a new NBA Africa, NBA Europe, like they plan on opening creating a league, extending the league to foreign countries. So if you're going to extend your league to foreign countries, you would then want to give them incentive to leave their league to come to yours. I think embarrassing the USA in the game that they created would be a great way for them to market their foreign leagues and to get athletes coming in. I kind of think the league wants to embarrass USA players right now.
Well, you know what? You might have it's a theory. It's a theory. It definitely is a theory. And so you've been watching the championship?
The finals, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So who did you have?
OKC, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I think OKC, listen, I thought that if the Pacers would have a chance to win, they would have to win that first game. And I think instead of the same, vigor, they kind of laid down in the second game because they said they got the one they wanted. I think that was a mistake. They should have tried to win the second game just as hard as they won the first. Because now, they got, first of all, they're back home now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they got to win both of those games.
Have to.
They have to win both of those games. Yeah, there's just no doubt about it. It's a must win. I got OKC too. And just amazing. That team is I think they're going to win a championship. And a team that had 3 first ballot Hall of Famers couldn't get it done. And throwing a Serge Ibaka for good measure.
Duh.
That team was a bug. The only reason they didn't win because they were young before they split them up. They were young. Can you imagine? Think about it. When you just think about that squad, that and with those guys, the way their careers turned out, man, it's amazing.
And that's exactly where I was about to go. Because when you look at how James Harden ended up, it kind of fits. Because he is a choke artist in the most important games.
Oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is.
He is a choke artist in the most important games. And Russell Westbrook, as great as he is, he doesn't close games well. So that entire series was on the back of KD and Ibaka. Because Ibaka playing the defense that he played, Kendrick Perkins was there too. Perk was there too.
That's right. Yeah, Perk was there too. He clogged the middle. Yeah, he was going to give you anything.
Yeah, so KD's offense and those two's defense was the only reason they even had a chance, because Russell doesn't close out games and James Harden just disappears when you need him. Like, this motherfucker will shoot 2 shots in the fourth quarter. Like, fam, it's the finals.
Yeah, man. Yeah, launch him up, man, because he has a decent shot. He can shoot. Anyway, but okay, so that's my 3 questions there. And my last slide in terms of sports, how are you in boxing?
Horrible.
Well, you know what? I try to cherry pick some fights from fighters that I recognize, because there's boxing going on all the time, by the way. So this Deontay Wilder, a guy who's a heavyweight, you probably seen him fight. He should hang it up. The last fights he has, he's getting destroyed in there, and I have a feeling he's going to lose this fight too. Jake Paul is I guess he's like an internet fighter. Right? Yeah. And then of course Shakur Stevenson is an up and coming light welterweight. And I know him, but I think he's overrated. So these are the 4 I picked over the next month or so that I'm gonna try to watch as long as they're free on TV, and I think they will be. I ain't paying for them. I haven't paid for a pay-per-view in years. You know, but I'm a big boxing guy from the old Sugar Ray Leonard days, Muhammad Ali days.
Yeah, if I asked my dad, I wouldn't be surprised if he told me the last pay-per-view he paid for was Mike Tyson.
Yeah. You know what? The damn fight is on a week later for free.
Hey, you give it an hour, it'll be on YouTube.
and even now it's on YouTube. Even back in the day, or 1 week later, they would show it for free. If you had a subscription with like HBO or Showtime, you know. So, and pretty much that's it for today, man. I appreciate you coming up, man. You know, sure. Every so often, a couple of my fellows show up. You know, people like, share, subscribe. So this is my new channel. So, if the link is, I put the link in the chat if you have, so you can, if you want to subscribe to it, I'd appreciate that a lot. Hit the like button and that kind of stuff, because I come back every week, man. Every week. This is my second season, 28 episode this year. 7 o'clock every Wednesday. So anytime you got a free time, you want to pop in, man, you know, I drop the link. I'll tell some of the other fellas, and you know, they'll pop up, man. I gotta remind them too much. I don't like sending out reminders. Either coming or you're not. You know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, man, I appreciate it. And
no, for sure.
Yeah, and so that's it. I'm good. And I always have my outro. Of course, I'm like big into my AI music. You know that, right? So anyway, so who's this? Somebody said something. Is that you? All right. What's going on? Finesse Vision just popped in. I don't know if you were here that long. Right?
Yeah. I just dropped the link.
Yeah, drop the link. All right. Great. Anyway, I'm out of here. I appreciate you coming up. And I already played my, like I said, I'm gonna play my little outro. You can stop by.
Grab your friends, it's time to play. Join the fun, we're here all day. Watch the game with drinks in hand. On the swivel, let's take a stand. On the edge of our seats, we live for the thrill. In this moment together, we're feeling the chill. So here's to the laughter as we gaze at the stars. We say goodnight from the swivel at the sports bar. In the flicker of the screens where our spirits ignite, let's cherish this time as we fade into nights and big screen thrills. Every moment gives you chills. High fives and cheers, it's quite a sight. Join the crowd, it feels so right. As the game goes on, our hearts beat as one. Memories in the making, oh, this night's just begun. So here's to the laughter as we gaze at the stars. We say goodnight from the swivel at the sports bar. In the flicker of the screens where our spirits unite, let's cherish this time as we fade into light. So good night, my friends, till we meet again in this world of the game, through thick and through thin.